Well, for me, skateboarding was an absolute revelation because I suffered with self-confidence, and I was never any good at any sports, any traditional sports. And suddenly I found something that I was good at, and it gave me so much confidence and just freedom. And suddenly I was being respected, and it was the biggest thing that happened to me in my life. It just totally changed my life. It was amazing. Well, my first skateboard I bought from Neal's toy shop in Bletchley, and they only had a choice of 2 skateboards, so obviously went for the cheapest one, which was a Surf Flyer, which had little black rubber wheels. So I went straight to the underpass in the Brunel Centre, started halfway down, got a speed wobble by the time I got to the bottom, straight on my head, and the board broke, the trucks of the board broke. So I thought, well, this is just fantastic, I need a better board. So I went back and upgraded to the next board, which was a Grentech Coyote, which had urethane wheels and was about this big. I think it looked very much like the penny boards they call them now, I think. Yeah, so that was my first experience, was falling off and banging my head. I think it would have been 1976. There was nobody skateboarding in Bletchley at the time, and literally within weeks you just couldn't move for skateboarders in the Brunel Centre, Stania Square. It was just went ballistic, literally overnight. It was just incredible. There were no proper facilities, so we just skated around the streets. It was a very positive thing, it was a very exciting thing. But I think it was just the sheer volume of skaters, a little bit out of control maybe at times. The closest thing we had to a ramp was a little loading ramp that we used to borrow from the back of one of the supermarkets and put in the Albert Street car park. I've actually got a picture from the Bletchley Gazette of Slim, who was one of my best friends back then, on the ramp. Then we'd politely put the ramp back after our session at the end of the day. It seemed to work. The tricks we were doing were things that we'd seen in the American magazines, so it would have been wheelies, that people call manuals these days, 360s, kickflips, endovers, crazy tricks like Daffy Duck, where you had 2 boards and you'd sort of nose and tail them. I used to skate from Far Bletchley to the Lakes Estate because they had some amazing brick banks, but they were just perfect for skateboarding. Yeah, that was about it, just going as fast as you could and trying to stay alive. One of the most exciting skate spots in the late 70s was the Rockler Pipe Factory, just near Newport Pagnell, which has all been developed now, but they built big drainage pipes, which was just a skater's dream. They weren't the biggest pipes in the world, not like the Arizona ones, but they were enough to keep us happy. Skate fashion back in the 70s, it didn't take long for vans to appear in the country, but as I said, they were very expensive, plus they had to be imported as well, but we had to have them. I used to wear the black plimsolls from Woolworths that cost a couple of quid, and it didn't take Mum to realise, that I'd be getting through 2 pairs of them a week, that it was worth spending the extra on a pair of Vans, which would last me for months. But it was pretty much the same. Skate t-shirts, I've still got a pair of Vans on now. Dungarees was a big thing in the 70s. It was a massive thing. All the really good skaters just had dungarees and sneakers, and that was it. So that was the very first wave of skateboarding. So I was aware of the street skating culture in Milton Keynes, and that I think I was introduced to that by an old friend, Phil Chapman, who contacted me in probably the mid 80s, and invited me to go skateboarding with him. He was doing stuff that I didn't even know could be done, and I was like, okay, I'm now officially an old school skater. There's no way I'm ever going to be able to do this. I'll just stick with my wheelies and my 360s. Milton Keynes created one of the best ditches in the country, which I know we weren't supposed to skate, but how could you not, really? So the Caldecott ditch, I've got absolutely no idea when it was built, and we certainly weren't aware of it in the 70s or even the early 80s. I think it was when Phil Chapman contacted me and said, are you going to come and ride the ditch? I was like, what ditch? And so I couldn't believe it when I saw it. It was like the perfectly formed ditch that had probably been sat there for years undiscovered. And people did used to come from miles to ride that. Yeah, and it was quite a special thing, as long as you didn't fall off and your board went over the top into the lake, which several did. I won't mention the name because he's quite a well-known record executive now, but he was a student at the time, and he jumped into the lake and rescued someone's board for a £5.
Bletchley needs a park and the council won't do nothing about it. I hope the council see this thing.
How many people in Bletchley do you think would use it?
About 1,000. You get 1,000 from Milton Keynes, easy enough.
My memory tells me that we got a massive petition.
We done a petition, right? And we give it to the mayor and everything.
And we stormed up to the council offices in Bletchley with our helmets and pads, you know, en masse, and went in there and delivered our demands.
Went to all these meetings about it, and they said they're going to give us a park. Well, they haven't.
Back in I think it was 1978, we almost got like a proper skate park in Milton Keynes, just before the craze died. But even more recently, they were talking about building a big pucker skate park at the Milton Keynes Bowl as part of that development, which looked amazing, but that's all gone quiet as well. And the Buzzy is, you know, it's a fantastic thing, but it doesn't cater for all skateboarders. And I think with like a world-class skate park, you're gonna bring people in from all over the world, and it's something that really it should have happened before. I think my lasting commitment to skateboarding is literally because it had such a profound effect on my life, such a positive effect, and also the camaraderie you had. You know, I'm still in touch with some of the guys that I was skating with back in 1976. Just over the years, all the skateboarders, all the old school skateboarders that you meet, they're just lovely people. Generally, really nice bunch of people, and it's something that stays with you. I think if you were a proper skateboarder, it will always be in you. Even though I haven't skated for a few years. You can't pass an underpass with a bank without mentally riding up it, you know, seeing a drainage ditch and you're in there in your mind. It's in here and it's in here.